for joining us for the interview of the 2022 candidates for Asheville City Council. I'm Kit Cramer, President and CEO of the Asheville Chamber, and I'm joined by one of our great public policy volunteers, Greg Burnette of First Citizens Bank. This interview will be with candidate Doug Brown. All interviews will be posted to the Chamber's website at ashevillechamber.org/2022 elections. Doug, thank you for joining us. I'm going to jump right into the first question. By 2040, our metropolitan statistical area is expected to have added almost 100,000 people. What do you think is the top priority for how the city should manage that growth?
Wonderful question. We have so many different things to address on that. We have traffic to address. We have the community that just loves their environment as far as the trees and the mountains, the views that don't want to just have ruined. With the people coming in right now, from what I can see, is largely it's a retired group of people, and it is people that can afford the housing that is here. That is not a workforce necessarily, and so but they are bringing dollars in and eating at our restaurants, our breweries, supporting our businesses, and all those sort of things. What are we going to do for that extra 10,000 people coming in every year when we reach 100,000? Coming from the Los Angeles area, San Diego area, the traffic here is not necessarily like bone crunching as it is in California, but I get it. Rush hours and so forth, it's full. We were in mountains. The infrastructure is very difficult to get those. How can you build more lanes? You know, in California, you got large flat lands, and you can expand out. This town's been around for a long time, so that's very difficult. But it's either grow or go, and we need to get businesses into this town. We need to attract them because it creates new jobs, and it can't just be hotel industry jobs. Although hotels bring in wonderful, clientele and so forth to our city. How do we get those businesses in here? I've got some ideas, but I don't want to get too far off and let you answer all your questions before I keep talking, because I can talk.
Well, actually, I was going to follow up with what role do you see economic development playing in dealing with growth?
We've got to grow. There is no other way around it. You look at the beauty of Asheville. All that it has to offer with its restaurants, its outdoor activities, its music scene and art and so forth. What company wouldn't want to come here and offer its employees this sort of environment? And I would imagine there are software companies, there's high-tech companies that could come in here and that don't need a large, say, manufacturing base or something like that takes a lot of land, but could bring in some high-paying, diverse jobs that would be a boon to our economy here, and it would just add so much more to our whole city. For example, if they could come in with higher paying jobs and buy market rate housing, that increases our tax base. If our tax base goes up, then we can save some money from that to build more affordable housing for our service workers and so forth downtown. But grow, we must do. And we have to do it responsibly. I love nature. My middle name's Foster. It stands for forest, the whole thing. But there's ways to do things. There's got to be some land available. I see some warehouses in some places that we can work with, that we can redevelop. But I am open to working with the Chamber of Commerce and anybody who's got some ideas on doing that. I may be a longtime independent businessman, but when it comes to city attracting businesses, I'm all ears. Let's get together, be creative, and let's make it happen.
So Doug, how do you balance policies like increasing density in certain corridors as a way to accommodate additional housing with neighbors who might be uncomfortable with change or growth in their neighborhoods?
Is that a trick question? Okay, that would be a great question. It's going to be an ongoing thing, right? If we had answers, we would figure that out. I've got one of my cohorts that's running along with me in your team, Asheville, is Andy Ledford. He lives down at Hendersonville Road. They're building an apartment place with 200 apartments and so forth. He goes, Doug, the roads are already so busy on the Hendersonville Road. How are we going to do this? Do we have to sink the street lights so that they're working on a certain way so traffic moves well? Do we have to like coordinate with some businesses and find out, you start at this time, your school, you start at this time, adjust some of those things? It'd be nice if we could expand the streets. That isn't going to happen. Do we build a tram overhead? How do you do these things? But we're going to grow, and good luck stopping that. This is a beautiful town. It's a great area. It's got a lot to offer. And like I said, a lot of retirees are coming here. I'd like to get some businesses to come here to support, get some more jobs and businesses, variety of jobs and pay scale and so forth. How to do that? I haven't got an answer right now, but this city is going to grow, and we're going to have to find out some way of doing that. Mass transportation, boy, I don't know. The autonomy giving up with everyone's got their own schedules. That's a tough one to figure out. But we're gonna have to figure out how to work things out and maybe shuffle some things a little bit outside the city if needed. That's my best answer I can give you on that one.
Doug, what do you think the role of the business community is in our city?
You are mentors, I think, to today's youth. My wife and I own a franchise downtown. I know you guys have gone through hardships the last couple of years. Whether it's a shortage of workers, whether it's having to get your store online like we did and take pictures of all your products and so forth, whether it's the COVID restrictions or whatever. And some of these things are even out of our control. You have a war overseas and your supply lane changes. You have federal policies that we don't even control locally. You have just maybe even a mindset with today's youth that are just like, do they have the grit and the fortitude and some of the work habits that we had? Some of this is behind us. We've all gone through trying to get interviews, and people have come in and we're ghosted 9 out of 10 times, and they don't show up for work or they don't show up for the interview. These are difficult things. Businesses, what I see, and so much of what we see, what we're doing, and mind you, our employees are more of the high school, college set, and so forth. But it is mentoring them and giving them a better view of who they are, what they're doing, how to work, how to interact with people. So much, I think, of what a business does right now is create a community. It is to give a place where these kids feel, in this case, my workers would be, you could call them kids, but they feel welcome, but they feel valued, that they realize that there are some habits, there are some ways of interacting with people, of showing up on time, of doing your work enthusiastically, and that promotes you and gets you to the next level so you can go up higher and better. Businesses are so essential that way. They employ people, they create the environment for people, they provide the services and products that our community needs. You take, when the gold runs out, everybody folds up shop, the banks, the cobbler, everybody, and we have a ghost town. Businesses are the lifeline of our community.
So Doug, tell us, where do you get your information as to what's happening within the community?
Yes, I do. Until recently, all the information I got from the community was like, who can play tennis next Saturday? But because our city has changed so much with the decrease of police, the amount of homelessness on the town, city budget is up now 9.2%. I get my news so much online. So much of it is available through archives and newspapers. You have to like them or not, whatever you like. It's Mountain Times, it's Citizens, Asheville Citizen Times, and then the Daily Planet. Some of these things, of course, then, there's podcasts and different things you can get your news from. Best thing I think I get my news from is talking to people that are in business. If I want to find out about homelessness, I talk to the homeless shelters. If I want to find out about police, I talk to the policemen. If I want to find out about what's going on with Memorial Stadium, I do some research. Goodness gracious, we've got all kinds of research and information we can find on Google. And then you go and talk to the people involved in the community and so forth. But you got to talk to people. You can, do all that research and so forth, just so you don't, bore people when you talk to them, because you should do some research before you meet them. But getting out and talking to people, I found is indispensable. The information I found by talking to the shelters around here has given me a great insight on how to approach that and help out if I'm elected city council.
So if you become a member of council, what will you do to reach out to the business community to ensure that they have a voice?
Just what I'm doing right now. I'm reaching out to you. I'm available. Contact me. My number is 828-608-0060. As I go around and campaign and I find people that are very passionate about something or have a depth of information about infrastructure, affordable housing, I ask you, can you be on my focus group? I need to talk to you. We need to get ideas. I need to bounce ideas off of you. Of course, I mean, I would even talk to the city council that's left, or work with the city council that's on there, get to know the staff and so forth. What I would do with the business community is it's unlimited. I mean, the door is open. You tell me. Basically, I would see myself in city council as a conduit to help you do what you need to do to survive and thrive. That's what I'm here for.
What's your stance on issues that are affecting downtown businesses such as camping and panhandling?
We have city ordinances. These are ordinances that our city, it's an agreement. It's a two-way street. You want to live here, these are the rules we live by. Why aren't we enforcing those ordinances? That would change if I were in city council. Who knows? If I'm the only one there with that viewpoint, I would make it very well known that that must happen. We must support our ordinances, which is no panhandling. That means no vagrancies on the street. And this is not a hard thing at all, because these people do have places to go. I've spoken to each one of these three largest, well, I've spoken to them all, whether it's Homeward Bound, ABCCM, Western Rescue Mission, or Salvation Army. They're all doing a great job, but just those three faith-based of themselves, independently, as I asked them, I said, could you guys handle the homeless crisis, or the shelter the homeless that are in our city? If city council would work with you, they said, yes, we could. So if the police were allowed to do their job, if even if it just took for 2 or 3 months, we just kind of said, listen, it may be a small thing, taking a leak on the curb or throwing some trash around, but you're going to understand that this is an ordinance in our city. You're going to go to jail, and it may be for a couple of days, but once the word gets out, we can, it's going to change the pattern. But right now, it's just like, do as you like. No one's going to touch you, and that doesn't fly. So we definitely take care of that, and we'd also work with the city and say, hey, you got to change your model on homelessness, because this housing first model that you have is all federally fund based, and it's just getting a check mark by putting someone in a room. You can put someone in a room, but if they still have addiction, if they still have mental health, if they still are unemployed, you still got a person that's going to be on the street panhandling, and that doesn't work. So let's work with the agencies that will work based on what they know is worked well in our city, and it won't cost the taxpayer money, because these people are well, I mean, we could support them, but these agencies such as ABCCM and Rescue Mission and so forth are largely due to private donations right now, and not dependent on federal money with that strings attached to it.
What do you consider to be the city council's role in maintaining public safety?
Support the police. I mean, bring them a box of donuts if you have to, but for goodness sakes, you've got to change the culture and the environment right there, right now. We can have the fanciest website we have right now for recruiting police. We can have the most sophisticated application process and the greatest branding techniques you want. But all an officer has to do right now is call another officer in the ranks, or someone who's left, and say, what's it like working in Asheville? And if you get that you're not getting support, there's a movement to defund, the city council doesn't have any backbone, whatever, are you going to work there? No, you're not. And so you're going to have to first, it's just like anything. If you got a losing team on the football field, sometimes you need a new coach. It's not the player's problem. We've all seen where a football team will turn around with a new coach. A classroom will turn around with a new teacher. A business will turn around with a new CEO. You need to change the culture in with the police department. And I would definitely do that. I would come in with a new set of playbooks and say, you guys, this is what we're going to do for now. Can I ask a question to you more about, you wanted to ask more what I would do for the community?
I'm sorry?
Was that answer?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I wondered if I went straight.
The most recent version of the Bowen report says that we need more housing at every income level. How can city council promote more construction of housing?
I wonder if you even need to promote it. Asheville is being promoted heavily. People are coming and multiple bids are going on. I think, you know, you've got a buyer market already out there. What we need to do is really look and see what kind of restrictions are going on that's discouraging developers from developing in Asheville. And I've heard of some developers saying, I won't even touch Asheville. Someone will say, I won't even come to Buncombe and Buncombe County. So there must be some sort of fees or procedures that are prohibitive, that are increasing the cost or increasing the whatever collateral damage it is to inefficiencies there are, that makes it undesirable for someone to build here. If you're not building houses, your supply is low. If your supply is low, your prices are going to go high. How can we do it for all? How can we address the income levels of everybody? I think one of the things, again, is if we can get in different sorts of industries, high-tech software companies, whatever, different, right now we have Raytheon coming in and Pratt Whitney and so forth. These are going to bring in some great jobs with different incomes. But if we can get some market housing built so that there is a inventory here, once those are selling and we get that tax base going, we can afford some more affordable housing units. It's a difficult thing. Affordable housing is not a, you know, it's the economics of that is difficult to do. You need to find some place to find that funding without taxing people or penalizing other builders and, you know, creating some sort of condition to say, you do this and I'll give you, you pay for my affordable housing and I'll give you your apartment complex or something like that. I don't think that's above board, but what I think we need to do is well, we've got a lot of affordable housing on the books at City Council right now. Hopefully that'll take care of a lot of the need that is out there, but our city's growing and it's going to continue to grow.
So Doug, in a minute or less, what sets you apart as a candidate?
What sets me apart as a candidate, I think, is my commitment to the city. I'm retired and I will do this job as full-time. I will do it for 4 years. If I can't come in and coach this team and turn things around in 4 years, I'm out of here. Even if I do, then I've set a track record. I put down some railroad tracks that other people can follow, and I say, do this and you'll do fine, young man. Because I'm not a politician, but I'm in here because I care about this community. I've got some good business background. I can work things with stewardship of your tax money, and I will, you know, I'll make some hard decisions and take responsibility for them myself, because I think some hard decisions need to be made with, you know, housing, homelessness, and definitely supporting the police.
Thank you. Well, Doug, thank you for being with us today. Thank you for carving out some time for us. As a reminder, you can find interviews of other candidates at ashevillechamber.org/2022 elections. And please be sure to vote in the primary on May 17th. Definitely. So again, Doug, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for your time and interest.
Thank you, Doug.